Jurors in the Sean Diddy Combs case hearing the angry voice of the rapper himself. The messages left for a recent girlfriend. That woman's allegations against the mogul, which he denies, violent and familiar. And just a warning, this story contains accounts, descriptions, and visual content of actual or alleged events that some may find disturbing.
You gotta believe what you want. It's the last time you go and cursing at me, disrespecting me.
In the harrowing Sean Diddy Combs trial, jurors hearing his voice and this voice note entered into evidence by the prosecution sent to one of his then girlfriends who's now testifying under the pseudonym Jane.
You're straight flipping out on me, and I told you that you had one more time to do this. You're nuts. So be sad, go crazy, do whatever you want to do, okay? I don't deserve your...
Prosecutors saying the voice notes show Combs' response when Jane raised concerns about how he treated other women while she was participating in their drug and sex-fueled evenings they called debauchery or hotel nights. Over several days on the stand, Jane has tearfully described her tumultuous 3-year relationship with Combs, which began in 2021 and ended when he got arrested in 2024, sometimes going into graphic detail.
These nights with male prostitutes while Sean Combs was watching her have sex, in some cases repeatedly, 3 or 4 times in one night, she said left her exhausted and sore, sometimes infected. One time she vomited, and she said she was made to have sex yet again, but she said she was never able to fully recover. It left her feeling repulsed, disgusted, feeling evil, and like an animal.
But acknowledging Combs is still paying her legal fees and her $10,000 a month rent.
The defense sought to question Jane about what she got out of her relationship with Sean Combs, highlighting her big house, highlighting that he invested $20,000 in her line of dresses and swimwear and how she's profited from those businesses.
Combs is facing federal sex trafficking, prostitution, and racketeering charges. He's pleaded not guilty to all the charges and has said all the sex was consensual.
The way the defense frames it is that this case is about love, jealousy, infidelity, and money. That the individuals we're going to see in this case were all willing participants, grown adults who knew what they were doing. These were isolated incidences of domestic abuse and not force or fraud or coercion to traffic these alleged victims.
Now in its 5th week of testimony, the Combs trial has only become more explosive. Diddy was once at the pinnacle of the music industry and pop culture, with hits going back decades like I'll Be Missing You.
Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
But cracks in Combs' glamorous mogul persona began when his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura filed a civil lawsuit against him in 2023, which was settled the next day for $20 million without admitting wrongdoing. Then, 6 months later, this graphic, abusive video from a hotel surveillance camera leaked to CNN. The details in that civil lawsuit and that abusive video leading to the federal investigation, his arrest, and now his ongoing trial.
Cassie Ventura's lawsuit was a spark to start this all.
When Cassie filed her suit against Combs in November 2023, Jane testified that the details were eerily similar to what she experienced, saying in court, "I almost fainted. In fact, I think I did."
She realized it wasn't just her. The same thing had happened with Cassie Ventura.
Jane said she texted Combs 3 days after the lawsuit came out, telling him, "I've been crying for 3 days and under stress from reading all of this. I keep having nightmares about forced nights and all the times I felt like I couldn't say no. I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma." Jane also testifying she was with Combs in Miami when that hotel surveillance video of him attacking Ventura first made headlines. "I remember we were sleeping and one of his sons knocked on the door and said that something happened. I went downstairs and I could see that everybody was speaking amongst each other, and I sat down. I went on my phone and then I saw the video." Jane said Combs showed her a draft of the apology he later posted on Instagram.
I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day.
She said she was disappointed in Combs' Instagram message. "I didn't feel it was genuine."
For the defense, they don't run from the fact that Sean Combs is extremely abusive and violent in that video. They instead argue that what fueled this argument, what fueled this abusive reaction, which the defense is not defending his actions, but it was jealousy.
Jane testified she also experienced similar sexual demands that Cassie Ventura testified to. Days-long hotel nights with male sex workers, fueled by drugs and baby oil while Combs watched.
Her testimony has really struck a chord for many legal eagles, including me. And importantly, not just her testimony stand alone, her testimony buttresses, corroborates everything Cassie Ventura said. These women were drugged, they were beaten, they were threatened. They were threatened with having videos of their worst moments in life disseminated.
Jane said on June 18, 2024, she confronted Combs about another younger woman he had been on a trip with. She said she then knocked Combs into a countertop during an argument and threw candles at him. He responded, she says, by attacking her. Sean kicked me from the back of my thigh, and then I fell on my butt. And then he picked me up in a chokehold and choked me. He put me in a chokehold on the ground, lifted me up, and I couldn't breathe.
She was curled up in a ball. She testified that Combs punched her a couple of times, kicked her, left her with welts on her forehead and a black eye.
She says Combs then texted an escort to come over. She says she covered her bruises with makeup, and Combs gave her a pill, encouraging her to engage with the escort. He said, "Take this expletive pill. Get out there, I don't care. Just you're not going to ruin my expletive night." Jane says she pushed back on Combs, telling him she didn't want to. If she stopped participating in hotel nights, she told the jury, she feared that Sean would take the house away. The jury hearing this voice note from Combs that Jane said she took as a threat.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all.
There is a dynamic at play that's very hard for the court watcher to understand. Why did she stay in it? Why did she let this happen? Sex trafficking victims that have been beaten, that have been threatened, that have been coerced, stay in it. Much as battered women stay in a battering relationship because they can't really see a way out.
Today, Jane coming under cross-examination for the first time, telling the jury she still loves Sean and participated in the so-called hotel nights because she wanted to please him and entertain his sexual fantasies. I would say a lot of cheating role play, that they would be that Sean left town and I'm all alone with me and whoever I'm sneaking in this entertainer.
The defense put out a lot of text messages, many of them pretty raunchy. And there's Jane initiating contact with the male escorts. And the idea, I think, was to show that Jane was a willing, maybe even an eager participant, different from the way she portrayed it during her direct examination.
Jane, a single mother, says their hotel nights prevented her from working and that Combs offered to cover her rent in part to stop using hotels. We had just done so many hotels and privacy was starting to become just an issue for me that we could just start at least doing them here in the privacy of our own home.
The defense sought a mistrial based on the testimony of a friend of Cassie Ventura's.
The judge today denied the defense's second request for a mistrial. If convicted on all charges, Sean Combs faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. To hear Cassie's testimony and what she said, watch Impact by Nightline, Diddy on Trial, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.